Like a vampire, I don't need to know you. Come with me, I'll show you. You can find me backstage, I'm a party with a Nicolas Cage. Girl, I want that body, you know you got a body like Nicolas Cage. You ain't gotta be scared, you ain't gotta be afraid, baby. It's just you and me alone tonight with Nicolas Cage.
This is Late Night Cage Fight, the best Nicolas Cage show of all time. The best show in the universe since Wild and Crazy Kids on Nickelodeon, if anyone remembers that. We are dedicated to all things Nic Cage, his movies, his life, his dreams. I'm Cagefighter Reese, and I'm here with Cagefighter Sean and Cagefighter Steve. We are so blessed to be here in his presence. Not literally, maybe someday. How are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm doing well.
Good and doing well. You heard it here first, everyone. That's great. We're talking about Windtalkers. Windtalkers.
Talking about the wind.
2002 American war film. A John Woo film, that's right. Starring the man himself, Nicolas Cage, and a whole bunch of other people, right? We'll mention them later. It's okay if you forget their names. I already have. This film is based on the real story of code talkers from the Navajo Nation during World War II. We watched it together a little while back, had a great time, shared lots of treats among us. Well, that's not true, actually, because we're remote.
So this is a documentary, right?
Windtalkers?
This is exactly how it happened.
This is like exactly
Well,
how
there were a
happened.
few things that happened that made me think that maybe it wasn't 100% historically accurate.
I don't know, it felt pretty accurate.
Did it? Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a vibe of authenticity, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. The film was theatrically released in the United States, our home country, on June 14th, 2002, receiving mixed reviews and grossing only $77.6 million worldwide against a production budget of how much do you think they spent, guys?
I actually know how much they spent.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the number. But
Yeah, tell us.
I can guess if you want me to just make something up.
Yeah.
It was 115 million.
Ouch. Bit of a loss there.
And yeah.
Opening weekend was only 15, which is crazy.
Ooh. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, that, who knows, maybe that weekend, it was like not really a good war movie weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I'm just surprised to see 5 times that after. I mean, for that bad of an opening weekend, I feel like.
Yeah.
It was more of a rom-com weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Valley Girl Appreciation Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a little bit more about us. I think we need to talk about us a little bit. Okay. A little bit more. A little bit more.
A little bit more.
We've got over 50 episodes. Now, not all of those are necessarily Cage, right? We have kind of our extra little ditty that we do called Cageless, where we review non-Cage films. Now, we do ask the question in our Cageless series.
I don't think you can call them ditties anymore. Just saying.
What do you want to call them, Steve?
Why? I don't know that ditties is appropriate.
Yeah, I thought
anymore.
it was kind of old timey. I thought it kind of harkened back to the Windtalkers era. I recognized it was cheesy, but now I'm like really disturbed by using that word.
Not enough baby oil.
Not enough.
Gross, but also hot. Anyways, go
but
ahead
we have a
with your
lot of
original
Cage to
point.
offer, right? I mean, we are the best Cage-tastic podcast since 2018. Check out our website at nickcagefight.com. And do keep listening. This is season 4. We are rolling through these movies. We are going to pick, in the end, what is the best of the season. And that film will join the other winners in our Cage Hall of Fame. Our winners so far are Birdie from 1984, Vampire's Kiss from 1988, and Con Air from 1997. How are you guys feeling
All
about
appropriate.
that?
I mean, I still feel like Andrew and Amos should have been on the list, but
I kind of want to go back and rewatch that.
yeah, it's a great movie.
It has
Maybe
its
for the
moments.
anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot we last year we saw 8mm, which was pretty much a snuff film. Good
Yeah.
times.
Snuff film about snuff films.
You just got to get that furry porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's get into some Nic Cage news. Nic Cage's The Surfer is now out and in theaters. It is what some people are calling a hallucinatory yet half-baked psychological thriller, says Zach Schoenfeld from Metro Weekly. He gives it a 3 out of 5 stars. I guess there's some
A perfect
real
score.
Cage. What's that?
Which is a perfect score.
It is a perfect score. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He says Cage delivers an admirably committed performance. But he tends to imply that maybe that's not enough to make it worth watching. But we'll go ahead and correct that for him on the record. And we do plan on seeing that film soon. Right, guys? Right?
on the list.
Which one's The Surfer?
The Surfer.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. I'm stoked. Filmed on location in Western Australia. Something else that's crazy that I've learned researching The Surfer. Guys, Nic Cage almost died filming this.
Did you get bit by a spider?
No, but he worried about getting bit by a shark.
Woo.
So he like almost died, or like
Well, he says
almost
that
felt like he might die.
he says that it's really due to his lack of surfing experience. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Cage said that while he has surfed, every time he's attempted it, he's been pounded to smithereens, which is kind of funny
Pause.
if you've heard my own story from last year, maybe 2 years ago. My bodyboarding story.
Oh yeah. I like that one.
He says that
I always
he...
think about that whenever I think of surfing.
Good. He says, quote, I just got pounded and literally got stuck in the riptide, and they said they saw my board. They call it tombstone, like that triangle top. He said, pantomiming the tip of his board sticking straight up out of the water. I'm climbing up the leash as I'm somersaulting, and I could have died. Now I have a young kid. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. Yeah. Thank God he made it.
Yeah.
He says his goal now is to retire, surf, drink red wine, and eat spaghetti.
It's hard to get pounded that hard.
If only.
The Carpenter's Son. Another Nic Cage movie that I think is in development. Yeah, filming began actually last year. The Carpenter's Son is an upcoming French-American horror film starring Nicolas Cage, written and directed by Lotfi Nathan. I thought it was Lofty Nathan. It's actually Lotfi Nathan, which is a bit disappointing. I liked the other name. Also stars FKA Twigs, Noah Jupe, and Sohaila Yacoub. I should get paid to do this just for saying this shit. Did you guys understand any of that?
I don't know what any of those words mean.
Yeah, I just assumed you made most of it up, but
That's fine. Yeah, I mean the lofty Nathan things. Yeah, kind of cued you in. During filming last year, Cage was reportedly attacked by a swarm of bees in one of the caves intended to be a filming location.
so like, not the bees, not the bees.
Oh my God, Steve. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's just like that. It's like it happened in real life.
That's great.
God. Wow. That's all I have for Nic Cage news. Let's talk about Windtalkers.
Deputies have pretty much busted every code we've thrown at them. The Corps developed a new code based on the Navajo language. You're to pair with a code talker. Your job is to keep him alive so he can do his job.
I'm Ben Yazi. It takes me 2.5 minutes to do what used to take an hour.
Orders finally came through. We ship out tomorrow morning.
You see any combat, Yazi? Looking forward to getting into some. Are you now?
Relay the coordinates!
Okay, coach!
You done good today, Ben.
You never called me that before.
Your mission is to protect the code at all costs. You understand me?
Yes, sir. I do.
I say we just jump right in to discussing this wonderful World War II war movie. So first, we'll have the Nick List. Nic Cage as Joe Enders gets hit with a grenade in a battle sequence at the beginning of the film. He looks like he went through a meat grinder, and he tells the medics that he's fine, I'm fine. This is Cage's version of walking it off. I mean, he's basically bleeding out across the entire Cage verse, but no, he's good. He's good. He's also like missing his ear almost. Pretty awesome. The line that Nic Cage delivers, Nic Cage says, "I'm not saving his life. I'm saving the code." Joe Enders, I'm sorry. And this is kind of spoilers, but the Navajo Code, now this is a movie about the Navajo code talkers during the war. That code needs to be protected, guys. It is like the one true ring. In fact, if any of the code talkers are captured, it's time to go full Mordor and just nuke them. Nic Cage experiences a lot of fire again. Flames everywhere, people screaming, and then there is Sir Nicolas Cage storming through the fire with his face locked in to a national treasure level determination. He doesn't flinch. It's like that scene in Knowing. You know the one. If you've seen it, we are going to watch it. But it is amazing. He's 100% Ghost Rider here in World War II. Awesome. Nicolas Cage has a war trauma crying scene at a waterfall. You remember that scene, guys? Nicolas Cage he's staring into the spray, and he delivers this whispery breakdown like a man who just lost a bet in Las Vegas, leaving Las Vegas style, and then was forced to watch Season of the Witch on loop. It's pure, unadulterated TLC lovin' Cage at the waterfall. Loved it. Nicolas Cage and grenades. What is it with grenades in this movie? You notice there's a lot of grenading? Spoiler alert, but I had to put this in the Nick list. The scene where one of the Navajo code talkers is being captured, right? So what does Nic Cage do? He grenades him. Why? Again, because he's protecting the code. pretty sure he ends up killing more code talkers in this movie than actual Japanese soldiers. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Nicolas Cage goes full Woo. This is a John Woo film, so spoilers. His character dies at the end, and it is like one of the most John Woo deaths ever on film. Good stuff. Guys, what did you think of Windtalkers? Just briefly, your first impressions.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really simple, straightforward movie. 2 U.S. Marines, World War II, assigned to protect Navajo Marines and use their native language as an unbreakable radio cipher. That's the movie.
Wow. Right.
Done. All right. Episode done.
We did it.
Moving on.
Nothing else to say.
No, so Nic Cage played Joe Enders.
Yeah, he was one of the Endermen.
Yeah, he was one of the Endermen. And I can't think of a good reference, but
something
yeah.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the movie, he's currently deployed. His whole unit just gets annihilated while he stands on and watches.
Isn't he like actively giving them commands, and they try to follow his commands and end up getting killed?
Yeah, but like his commands, I don't know. There's just a lot of scenes of him just kind of like standing there with his jaw dropped and like staring at things, and it wasn't really well established that he was in command, which I guess does kind of make sense in like active military engagement, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I know that I can't lead without an unbreakable Navajo cipher personally, but
right.
Well, I think they didn't hear him very well, or else they would have survived.
I mean, yeah, that's probably it. But then, like,
granted,
right after everybody dies, he just goes on and takes on like 50 guys by himself. So, like, on the flip side, I feel like if he had gotten involved sooner, they might not have died.
He hadn't gone Super Saiyan yet.
Well, I mean, it's like Dynasty Warriors general logic. He's just like sending out the massless troops that are just getting annihilated, and then he comes out and like can just take on 1,000 body counts.
Yes. And he's also saying, like, you guys have to die in order for me to have motivation in the story. So,
right.
Sorry about that. Yeah. They're on the Solomon Islands, World War II. Yes. He also he's at a political rally and gets shot in the ear. No, he's still in World War II. I'm getting confused with real life stuff.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the ear, which is terrible. I mean, it's also terrible that his guys were violently blown up and shot to death. But man, that ear thing. He gets reassigned to protect Navajo code talkers. These 2 guys.
He was like disabled, and then like, the Agent Carter looking nurse.
Okay.
Tries to talk him into like just bedding up with her and saying bye to the war, and he's like, hell no! Goes in and like forces them to let him do it, and then forces her to sign off on his documentation to go back in.
Right. He's like, I gotta
go. All right,
I gotta go.
If you're going back in, then you're gonna do sketchy shit. We got a sketchy job for you, buddy.
That's right. So he teams up with Benghazi, Private Benghazi, and Private Charlie Whitehorse in a Jusco. Is that what that says? A Jusco? Isn't that a Japanese department store? No, a JASCO is a Joint Assault Signal Company. Oh. Okay, much different. So they team up, and it just so happens that Yazi and Whitehorse, they're friends from the Navajo tribe. We get a lot of, we get a couple scenes of them like praying and doing their Navajo ritual stuff, just so that, we're like, oh yeah, they're definitely Indians. They had to really drive that home.
I know it's not the same guy, but just the name Charlie Whitehorse and just the general like appearance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept thinking of him as like the dude from Twilight, because there's like the main girl, her dad's name is Charlie, and like his best friend is some old like dude from the Indian tribe there.
Okay, and they're werewolves or something.
Yeah, I think they're all like a werewolf tribe or something. But regardless, just like that guy's whole demeanor and everything is very similar, where he's like the not a chief kind of deal.
Okay.
Where he like gives very like, I'm an important figure in this community, but not necessarily like the leader kind of thing. Gotcha. And he had that same like, I don't know, high level respect.
Well, with the number of times in my life you have compared everything to Twilight, I need to watch that movie. I really need to.
Yeah.
I don't think you.
It's Twilight. There's some other like girly horror movie that maybe it's Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
Underworld?
Well, yeah, I have seen Underworld.
I tried to rewatch it recently. I
Yeah.
got through the first one and decided to go to the second, and I just couldn't keep going.
Yeah, I figured that's how it would go.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I thought you were talking about the bondage movie.
Oh, there's a bondage movie?
That was the. Yeah, what's that called? The
Undergirl.
Something Gray.
Grey's Anatomy. No.
The one that was
the Twilight spinoff.
Spawned from the fan
fiction one.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue. And I'm not gonna Google it. And it's gonna 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
For people that want to get dominated by a rich man, like the entire country is.
So there may be some elements of 50 Shades of Grey in Windtalkers. You're saying?
That's what we're really getting at.
Yeah, through these characters. Okay. I have to sneeze. Oh, that affected me in mind and body and soul.
Ben Yahtzee classically loves whip play. Big part of his character.
That's what I was saying.
So
with some of those scenes, yeah.
Okay.
You want to keep it moving? Let's keep going through this amazing war film, Steve. I need to know what happens next.
So I mean, it. The whole concept, right, is that it's World War II, and that in order they keep breaking our codes, so we were developing a code around Navajo language.
Right.
And so there's this really beautiful kind of intro to a lot of that. You know, you see the classrooms, you see a lot of like the teaching of the codes and people learning about this. You kind of get the feeling there's going to be a lot about this code system throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And then class ends, about 5 minutes later, and I don't think we really talked about the code stuff hardly at all after that.
There are just certain code words that get repeated.
Yeah, I mean, like, you hear them, like, making but I don't even remember a lot of repetition of any codes. You just hear them, like, say codes over the radio every now and again, and, like, every 15 minutes it's, oh no, I lost my radio. I need to make a code.
I just feel like the story, is more about the drama than the code, because it's when you realize that the code part of it is actually really simple. They're just using Navajo words in place of other words in English.
Right. Yeah.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Like, this word means airstrike. Okay. So that's probably, I mean, I'm...
So really, they could have used any language. They could have used Pig Latin.
Yeah. Oh, with the Japanese, they know Pig Latin. They're going to crack that one. You saw in the movie, they actually showed the Japanese, like, cracking codes.
Yeah.
But they never thought they would use the American Indian language. Huh.
Well, and that's what I'm curious of with all the, because like watching the movie, obviously they were utilized much more as highly disposable soldiers,
right? Yeah,
you know, with their own personal kill squad,
right?
And like there didn't seem to be a huge reliance on the code stuff. So you know, yeah, any of our listeners out there that are big World War II buffs, or you know. Has some inside knowledge.
And I have some more thoughts on that as well.
What was it really like? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all have some more thoughts on what you're talking about. Let's just finish the plot, and then we'll get into it, because I'm looking forward to that myself. Enders and Henderson. Henderson.
Oh, was
Christian Slater's character. Okay, both of them were given new assignments with the Navajo code talkers. They're told that the code cannot fall into the enemy hands, right? And Enders and Henderson, they don't like their new assignments, and then they also have to endure, or they witness the Navajos experiencing some racial harassment by some of the other Marines, mainly Private Chick. That guy was kind of a douche.
Yeah.
There's a friendly fire action scene. There is a lot of action in this John Woo film.
That's why I recognize Chick. He was also Lieutenant or General Grabaston in Space Force.
Oh, okay. My God, it took me a couple seconds to interpret what the hell you just said.
Yeah, Grabaston.
Yeah, I've seen him in a few films.
Yeah.
There is an invasion of Saipan scene, another action scene. After they secure the beachhead, there is that's what I was talking about, the friendly fire. And then Yazi's radio gets destroyed. They're unable to call off the bombardment. So Yazi comes up with the idea of disguising himself as a Japanese soldier and wearing the Japanese uniform and going behind enemy lines to take over a radio. And with Enders, Nicolas Cage's character as his prisoner. Another epic action sequence there.
It's ironic that they used the uniforms to go undercover, because the U.S. uniforms apparently didn't really work for not getting shot due to the amount of friendly fire in the film.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you don't have a radio, then U.S. troops will just blast you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. As we're approaching more towards the end of the movie, the plot, spoilers. Okay, spoilers. The Americans do win the war, so I will just assure you that. In case
that doesn't sound right.
No.
I don't think that's how it happened.
All right. Well, the Marines are camping in the nearby village of Tanapag. Yazi gets temporarily reassigned to the command post to translate a code. Lucky, Nic Cage's character Enders is becoming more conflicted about killing Yazzie versus following his orders. What's that about? Killing Yazzie versus following his orders.
Yeah, I feel like those are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's probably just poorly worded.
Probably. I do remember that he has requested to be relieved of duty, and that is denied. And like this whole time, he's struggling mentally with what happened at the beginning of the film. You know, the flashback sequence, essentially, losing all those guys, and then I'm sure just kind of like the everyday trauma that comes from, having to kill a lot of people in a John Woo film. Henderson, one of the code talkers, is killed. No. I'm sorry. Henderson, that's what's his name's character? Christian Slater. Christian Slater's character is killed. Then White Horse is about to get captured. And just as he's about to get captured, Nic Cage's character, Enders, tosses a grenade at him. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Killing him and his captors, thank God. Yazzie returns there, and then upon seeing White Horse's body, confronts Enders, who reveals that he was the one who killed White Horse. And Yazzie points his gun at Enders, but can't bring himself to pull the trigger. Nic Cage, his character, is saying, "Do it! Just do it!" Later, Enders confesses that he hated having to kill White Horse, and that, like Henderson, his mission was to protect the code above all else. We get one final mission. They're ambushed near a minefield. Enders, Yazzie, Chick, and Corporal Pappas, they take cover on a ridge, and they can see the Japanese artillery fire on a Marine convoy below. Enraged over White Horse's death, Yazzie charges the Japanese line, leading to both he and Enders being shot as they're calling in an airstrike. Fearing capture and torture for the code, Yazzie pleads for Enders to kill him, but Enders refuses to do so and instead carries him to safety as Navy planes bomb the Japanese positions. Despite all of this, Nicolas Cage's character, Enders, is mortally wounded and dies. Man, I'm getting emotional just going through the plot. And then finally, we have back in the U.S., Yazzie and his family are dressed. They're wearing sacred necklaces and Navajo ceremonial dress, and they're performing a Navajo ritual of paying respects to Enders and all of the Endermen who gave their lives. The end. Are you guys crying?
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. That is the plot of Windtalkers. How did you guys feel about the story?
Well, I mean, technically, Benghazi is a time traveler. Because if you remember, he shows Nick a picture of his wife and kid.
Okay.
And his kid is wearing Nick's dog tags.
What?
So, yeah.
So there is a time travel. There is an Easter egg time travel element to the movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wouldn't expect that. Wow. So John Woo was like, we're going to make this war film honoring the sacrifice of our veterans. But it's actually going to be like a sci-fi film. Just, most people are too stupid to catch on.
In disguise.
Yeah. Amazing. Windtalkers. So there might be like a Windtalkers 2065 movie.
Looper. Yeah.
Looper.
Yeah.
Great. I find it kind of ironic in a way. On the poster for Windtalkers, it says inspired by true events, not based on true events or something like that. It's inspired. Some of it might be real. I don't know about Nic Cage walking up a mountain and single-handedly smoking 50 dudes by himself. Yeah. I think I had mentioned before. Well, to me, the movie feels like John Woo wanted to make a big budget war film, and he didn't really care about the story or the plot or any of that. Like, I think the plot itself takes a back seat to the action. I mean, the action is just, I mean, it gets exhausting, don't you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually, a lot of that was due to the studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking for the detail again, but it was supposed to be like John Woo's big dramatic breakout film for a major studio. And like he had a certain vision for it, but they made him recut it.
Yeah, there were about, the original cut of the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and they cut nearly 40 minutes of the movie that focused primarily around the story around the two code talkers. And
that's right. Which is a shame.
Yeah. There was a lot of production issues where the staff, they felt like primarily the actors that played the code talkers felt like their story was not being told properly. And actually Adam Beach, who played Ben Yahtzee, broke down on set during one of the filming days just because of his thoughts over how the code talker story was being told and misrepresented.
Oh wow. Huh.
Now on the flip side, I will say our boy Nick, he actually learned how to speak fluent Navajo.
Yeah, of course he did.
For his part.
Yeah.
Even though his character never actually speaks it at any point.
Wow.
Cage claimed that it was just so he could better understand the script. But
the script, which was in English.
Sure John, right.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure John Woo just knew that Cage misunderstood what his character was supposed to be.
That was
the way he put in the effort and he learned it, and that's to be commended. So, way to go, Cage.
That wasn't the only case of Cage doing a lot of additional prep, though. We mentioned that in one of the first scenes, he suffers severe hearing loss, and he actually wore a device to simulate that hearing loss when he was prepping for the movie, just so his performance could be more accurate.
Do you guys think that might be a little too far? Wouldn't it just be more distracting? Like, wouldn't he have to be like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I got to use my good ear."
You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to move to the other side. That's my good ear.
I mean, I feel like where that's gonna matter in the movie, it's gonna be written in. Otherwise, it's got to be annoying. Sorry, guys, my character that was on my left side, so I can't really hear them when they're talking. Can we go ahead and just like stage me on this side?
But that's exactly it, though. But it's as simple as just like the subtle movements and stuff too. I mean, you're gonna kind of want to direct yourself to be able to hear, even if they are on the other side.
Right. I just think
I was gonna say my counterpoint is you're arguing that Nick is putting in too much effort, and that is the entire reason that we have a podcast dedicated to.
No, I'm saying I love it. I'm saying I love it, but I would have loved it even more if he shredded his own ear, just destroyed it for the sake of art.
That was his original plan. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted the full simulation, but his producer was like, Nick, baby, come on. You cut your ear off, and then that's it, buddy. We can't do anything that requires both ears. And he's like, but this is my character. Like, right, Nick, I get you, but
this was the
save
compromise.
it till next time. Love the energy.
Yeah. Totally love it. Hey, I just found a quote from John Woo that kind of it kind of affirms what I said, or what I guessed earlier. He said, quote, "The main themes of Windtalkers are friendship and understanding. Unfortunately, the studio wanted a John Wayne movie, just a typical American hero film with explosions every few minutes. I had to make them understand that this wasn't a story about heroes. It's a story about a man and his own demons trying to redeem himself from war. I made the movie that way, but some people in the studio didn't appreciate it, and in the end, I guess neither did the audience." That's interesting.
It's very reminiscent of the time, because like it has the same kind of whitewashing effects that Last Samurai did, which was what, 2003, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's all just the same time period of like, it doesn't matter about the stories of the people.
It just
all
what's
that matters
interesting
is the action.
what's interesting is in either case, the Code Talkers still take a back seat to the story. They're still like secondary.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I just feel like, well, why not just make the movie about the Code Talkers and make Nic Cage a supporting character? But of course, I would never want that. You know what? What's really ironic is this movie actually got pushed back because of 9/11. And they're saying that audiences reacted to it in a certain way because 9/11 happened around that time. And then Nic Cage goes and stars in the 9/11 movie.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Genius. Smart guy. Yeah, what else do you want to say about it? You know, we didn't really talk about the cast other than Nic Cage. Adam Beach played Private Benghazi. Peter Stormare was the platoon sergeant. Always loved seeing him. Last time we saw him, I think, was in 8mm as one of the villains. And man, that guy can be a ferocious villain. Noah Emmerich, Mark Ruffalo was also in the film. So yeah, quite a cast of dudes, and then one female who we all agree was completely pointless in the movie. The letter.
Yeah, it was like an odd distraction that added absolutely nothing to the movie other than like a female voice for voiceovers. But
I wrote you a letter.
Yeah.
It's like the movie really pulled a fast one on you by making you think that there was going to be some romance.
Right. Like their relationship felt really similar to the dynamic of like Captain America, right? Because I keep referencing they look similar, but also like that entire relationship developed in a similar way where like he's in the military and he shouldn't be, and they end up having this relationship helping him through his medical endeavors.
I'm gonna fix him.
But like they actually remain connected and like have a relationship.
Right.
Whereas Nick was like, just give me the paperwork and then leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
And then she just keeps writing him letters and he's like, what is wrong with her? Why does she not understand? I don't like you.
Right. Yeah. It's like she kind of fulfilled her purpose after he was reinstated, and there was no need for her letters to keep popping up. Other than to like provide some context for what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
I agree. It was odd, for sure.
Yeah.
I recognize some Hawaii spots, and I have confirmed that they did film at Kualoa Ranch, also where they filmed Lost and Jurassic Park, at least some scenes. And they actually had volunteers from Schofield, Hickam Air Force Base, Pearl Harbor, and Kaneohe. So quite possibly some people I know were in this movie. I should go ask. Get this, guys. The violence, I do recall it was quite graphic. They actually had to trim down. They had to tone down the violence to avoid an NC-17 rating. And then they restored it for the DVD release, the director's cut. I don't know when that came out, but yeah, interesting. They had to cut the violence to avoid the NC-17. I'm trying to remember what was like some of the really graphic scenes. I mean, you see people getting stabbed, I think dismembered. shot. What's amazing to me is, you see tanks and vehicles blowing up, and it really looks like people are inside them. I don't know if that was CGI. I don't think it was dummies, because like they're moving and stuff, you know. Now maybe Nic Cage is like, I'm not going to do this movie unless we have real animatronic people in the exploding vehicles. That's a line I'm not going to cross.
Well, yeah, and it's possible. I mean, they did a lot in the time with like precision explosions and stuff like that. So I'd have to actually pay closer attention, but I could imagine like if somebody's in the turret of a tank, you know, setting off minor detonations around the outside to give the explosion effect, but like the interior is actually isolated from all of that.
Right. Yeah. I don't necessarily mean the tanks, but the other like cars, the convoy vehicles. You know, they blow up, and it's like I can see people inside there.
Oh yeah.
And I was just curious how they did that. I mean, I think some of the filmmaking in the war scenes that seemed innovative for the time. I mean, maybe that's just John Woo, but I was kind of impressed. Now, it is very much Hollywood, battlefield sequences. It's nothing like real life, but still, I was like, man, this is intense. It's this is more intense than Captain Corelli, man.
I know.
And that's hard to do.
Would just like to point out that I think Nick killed more code talkers in this movie than the Japanese did.
Yeah, that's important and tragic. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Kind of
it's
the
like
job, though, because they didn't want to kill them; they wanted to capture them. So his job was to make sure to kill them first.
Yeah, and man, I just the way they depicted that in the movie, I think, kind of hurt the film.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I think that's really like what the big takeaway is for me. Is like, and maybe this was the reality of the situation. I don't really know, but yeah, it did feel like it was a race to see like which one of them could kill the code talkers first, instead of like the goal being to protect them.
Could you like imagine?
Just kept putting them in like unnecessary. They're like, you front lines,
right? So imagine
you're I'm the communication guy. Like I have a phone. You guys all have guns.
Imagine being one of these guys. This is terrible, but you're pulled from your community, your culture. You're put into war, and you're told like you're so important that we're gonna give you the radio, and we're gonna protect you no matter what. Actually, no, if you get captured, we're gonna kill you. So if the bad guys don't kill you, if they capture you, we'll kill you. But you have the radio. So why don't they just they see that they're about to lose? Like I would just call in the airstrike. Oh, and there's friendly fire all the time.
Yeah.
Because apparently, if you don't have a radio, then
on and off the battlefield.
Yeah. Why do they have uniforms?
Yeah. They should have been in tanks. Jeez.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, again, I don't know what the reality of the situation is, and there's some part of me that wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
But
they made
it helps me understand it better.
I feel like they tried to make Nic Cage's character almost like a Jesus character in a way. It's like he has to carry the guilt, the sins of all of this, and then he has to die in the end.
It felt really similar to Captain Corelli's character, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same, like, it's my job to do shitty things. I mean, I kind of feel bad about it, but it's my job, so that's what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
This is bad, but I'm the bad guy. I mean, I'm the hero, but I am the bad guy too on the inside, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave now. Remember me.
And he ends up being a hero. But then it's like, he kind of like killed the code talkers too. It's kind of...
Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with the victimization of people that willingly carry out things that they don't morally agree with. I don't think that makes you a victim. I think that makes you equally a perpetrator in it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at, is these kinds of movies where I think they fail or they start to lose some points with me is when they're very clearly trying to deliver a questionable moral message. And then not to mention that it's like so Hollywoodified, you know. So
right.
It's just like, are you trying to make a realistic, honest narrative about the Windtalkers, or are you just trying to make a big dumb action movie with the Windtalkers, you know, history folded into it? But it's just, it feels deceptive in a way.
The scene with where he fights the guy with the flamethrower didn't help.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, my favorite scene in the entire movie was probably the duet with the windpipe or wind flute and the harmonica.
That was awesome. That was that was some Gundam Wing stuff, man.
Right.
If you think about it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that was like the only moment of like genuine like.
Yeah. What did Nic Cage play?
Nick didn't play anything. It was Christian Slater's character playing harmonica, right?
That's right. See, I'm getting Captain Corelli is bleeding into my Windtalkers.
Yeah. He had the violin or something, right?
Yeah, the mandolin.
Mandolin, that's right. Mandolin.
And he probably learned how to play that too. I'm trying to remember.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Windtalkers, guys. Let's go ahead and give our ratings. Are we doing out of 5 or out of 10? I don't even remember who I am anymore.
I think out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah, that's fun.
I'll go first. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. And it gets the positives. Nicolas Cage, of course. He's a badass. He's just mowing people down. He is willing to atone for his sins in the end as well, making him kind of an anti-hero. What else? Oh, the action is cool. It's a bit long. And we already discussed the problems with the story, the plot, the writing. But I can't really blame John Woo. I feel like John Woo really tried. He was just being pressured by, I don't know, MGM or whoever hated him at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as war movies go, I don't think this has any chance to rank among the greats. So yeah, 4 out of 10.
So, you want me to go next, or you want to go, Sean?
You can go.
Okay. I'm probably at like a 2.73 repeating.
Does that mean like forever assessing a decimal point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know how much you prefer non-round numbers.
Yeah, I love that. That's great for my AI.
The biggest things for me, there's very little like classic Cage. You don't have any Cage outs. You don't have like maybe a couple bits here and there, but they're very short, very contained. Mm-hmm. Just not any good like Cage action.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few points actually added in, just for the fact of the detail and diligence that Cage did towards his role. And I do feel like he followed the script well, and he portrayed the character that he was given.
Yeah.
Well.
Of course.
But also losing points because it didn't matter. It didn't bring anything extra to the movie. It didn't. Just because he was good at his role, it just. Mm-hmm. There still wasn't any any excellence there. And overall, I just feel like the movie had a lot of things lacking. And like you said, it just, even from a military movie or war movie, it just, I don't know, just a lot of key elements that seem to be lacking.
Yeah. Now, I hope we get a 10 out of 10 from Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't going to go quite as low as both of you, but I was going to give it like a 6.
Okay.
I agree. I don't think it is anywhere near some of the greats. I would say I probably enjoyed it more than something like Firebirds or, dare I say, Time to Kill.
Please tell me Time to Kill was scored lower. Please.
Yeah. I mean, it clearly was chasing that Saving Private Ryan era. And I mean, studio meddling is very apparent with this one. It's very typical of the era that you have a movie about the Navajo and then you throw a white savior into it because you think that it's gonna do better in the box office.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary, apparently.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that generally it was a well-directed movie. The action scenes were pretty solid. General John Woo fare there.
Right.
And I mean, it was cool seeing Cage and John Woo reunite since Face Off. So,
yeah.
But I don't really see this going in the B Cage of fame anytime soon.
I'm willing to call this a necessary stepping stone to Face Off 2.
Yes.
If we must. Okay. Steve, did you get those scores down?
No.
Well,
but that's okay.
Okay. Just because you know it's going to be disqualified.
Yeah. 4, 3, 6. Got him.
Okay, perfect. And since I still have you on the line, Cage Fighter Steve, what do we have coming up next in the Cageverse?
Next, I believe, is Sonny.
Sonny, what the hell? What the hell is Sonny? I still don't know what this movie is.
I don't really know. I briefly read it, but I think that it is Nic Cage as a prostitute.
So it's his take on Deuce Bigalow.
Hey, so I real quick, since I'm looking at the numbers, I want to put this out here real quick.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Each one of us scored Captain Corelli's 1 point lower.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We just did Windtalkers.
Yeah. Maybe we're not very good at this review thing, but whatever.
No. I think that's ironic because like you said at the end, like so long as Captain Corelli's is a little bit lower, and we were consistent. We were all like, this is just a little bit better than Captain Corelli's was.
Okay.
So it's kind of ironic that it worked out like that.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Sonny. I don't want to read too much because I want to be surprised, but this is interesting. This is actually Nicolas Cage's directorial debut.
Huh. Yeah.
So he is the director, and he makes a cameo appearance. But guess who the star is? James Franco.
Really?
Yeah, he is Sonny. And plays a gigolo, and that's all I'm gonna read. So I saw
in New Orleans.
In New Orleans. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
So we're gonna be. I mean, this is probably gonna feel like a Cageless episode, but since he's the director, I say we roll with it. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious about it. James Franco as a prostitute makes a little bit more sense to me than Nicolas Cage. So
I agree.
I feel a little less confused by it.
His character in Sonny is called Acid Yellow. I really hope Nick plays the pimp.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's just going to be leftover gear from Deadfall
Okay.
with a name like Acid Yellow.
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to see what we have leading up to National Treasure? Or I can do it.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here.
Okay,
We've got
cool.
Sonny, and then after that, it would be Adaptation,
yes.
Matchstick Men, and National Treasure.
Okay, cool. So we are kind of rounding it out then.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I again, I don't know much about Sonny. I'm excited for it though. I just don't know what to expect, but like Matchstick Men, Adaptation, and then of course National Treasure. I think we're really going to end this season on a high note. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And I'm definitely excited for next season. It's going to be all things I'm fairly familiar with and looking forward to. Really, the only thing on this list that is going to be a struggle is going to be World Trade Center, probably.
That one, man, I don't. Yeah, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we've got other good bangers on here, you know, like Ant Bully.
Oh, perfect. We'll bring some Kitty Cage back, huh?
Yeah. Crudes is still going to be a little while longer, I think, because that wasn't until like 2010s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I just want you to know if I am ever in a war situation somewhere in the Pacific and I need a team of people who can think fast on their feet and shoot straight, I would choose you guys. And I would even ask you guys to go first because I know that you would really pave the way for me to do what I need to do to accomplish the mission. So thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
That sounds like a horrible decision.
All right, well, Windtalkers, that's all for this beautiful film. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks for listening to Late Night Cage Fight. Next up, Sonny, directed by Nic Cage, starring James Franco. Thanks for listening again. Cage out.
Cage out.
Cage out.